Welcome to the Gamer and the Weeb podcast, the only podcast that doesn't send death threats to their favorite mangaka. I'm your host, Ryan, here with my co-host, Fondiolio. What's going on, bud? What are we talking about today?
We're going to be talking about one that I hear a lot, and it's honestly pissing me off from the stuff that we hear about this show because it does not deserve the hate. I mean, I could see where they're coming from, but it shouldn't be a reason for you to hate it even though you haven't seen it. From the title, I'm pretty sure you could already guess what we're talking about. Why you shouldn't hate My Hero Academia or Boku no Hero Academia.
Dude, I used to hear so many great names. There was like Hero Macadamia. And then I saw a video that was like, Dub Watchers, My Hero Academia. Sub Watchers, Boku no Hero Academia, and it's like the real MVPs.
Netflix
yeah.
live action.
Yeah, it's like the real MVPs. My Hero Macadamia.
But yeah, because like, so let's get the big one out of the way already. So the one that we hear the most about why, I haven't seen My Hero because of this, I'm not going to watch it because of this, is because they're like, the fandom is so toxic. That's why I want to watch it.
And we're not really here to argue that they're not toxic.
Yeah, like they are.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were saying death threats to your creator only because to make the ships canon, then that's, I believe, the definition of fucking toxic.
It is. And for me, like, I don't even think, like, a lot of people will be like, it's just you don't like the gay ships and all this other stuff. Look, you may not agree with me, but one of the couples I ship, I know, and you don't like it. It's Kirishima and Bakugo. I ship it. There's evidence to support it, but that is why I ship them. I ship them because there's evidence to support it. I'm not gonna see two male characters have one scene together and be like, boom, they love each other.
Yeah, like I especially hate the Deku and Bakugo one.
Oh yeah,
I think it's like the worst one, and also like, I think I've seen like an All Might with who was it with? Fuck.
So many people. I've seen All Might with Deku, All Might with Aizawa. I'm like, come on, guys.
It's so weird.
The one that I like, okay, there's one that's Shinso from the one with My Control. He was shipped with Denki Kaminari, lightning bolt.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, and they have that one scene together in the manga where he's like, I bet you get all the ladies and blah blah blah. Like he's talking to him like as a friend. And if you've ever hung out with like two guys, that's how they talk to each other. They're not gonna be like, hey, what's up, bro? I bet you get no chicks. If you're hanging out with like your friends or trying to like make a friend, you're not gonna be like, hey, bro, you get no girls. You're gonna be like, hey, I'm sure you do all right, Whereas like I feel like the fandom sees that and like they love each other instantly.
I especially hate going through Instagram and seeing all these like gay ships happening. Like, don't get me wrong, like maybe in the future Horikoshi might do gay ships, but as of right now, there's no confirmed gay ships. The only confirmed ships that we've seen, it was Kaminari with was it Jiro?
Yeah, Jiro.
And I don't care what you guys say. It's gonna happen. I don't care what you say. There's a lot of evidence to back this up. Deku with Uraraka is a confirmed ship.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like hands down. Like they even show you from the beginning because when Uraraka was like, oh, why does Kachan call you Deku? He goes, it's just like a nickname he used to bully me with. I was like, I like Deku. Call me Deku then. Like, there's no doubt that these two want each other.
Exactly. And then even now in the manga, you could see it where she's like she's even kind of copying Deku's costume with her new visor, and like she even says that she can't focus on like on Deku because she needs to be a hero that can basically keep up with him. So it's not just that she likes him; she wants a partner.
Exactly. And then also, Uraraka already confirmed that she likes him.
Yeah, she's already
And then I believe also if it wasn't for Deku, she wouldn't keep pushing at where she's at right now.
Exactly.
Because she even said like, I gotta keep doing it because it's something that Deku would do, like just to keep pushing. Like she's even said that in the anime and the manga.
Yeah, and I'm fine with ships, whatever they are maybe, but I like ships that are supported by evidence. I'm not just gonna pick two characters and they had one scene together and boom. Like what really pisses me off is I see a lot of one like how people hate on the All Might and Deku one. I feel like there should be the same amount of hate for Hawks and Endeavor because Hawks feels the same way Deku does about Endeavor. That's his hero.
Was his All Might, yeah.
Yeah, his hero, his idol. So everyone ships them just because they're a little bit older and they're both heroes. Like, No, dude, like that's just his hero. He looks up to him, you know? He's not trying to slide into bed with him. He's just a friend, you know?
I do like the Hawks and Mirko.
Mirko, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good ship.
Best girl, dude.
But the reason why we're so much on this topic is because it's pretty much the reason why they're toxic is because it's just the ships. Because like when I'm on social media, there's not really much people, you know, like getting mad about, you know, people saying My Hero sucks. Because they would ask you, okay, so why do you think it sucks? And then of course it ends up being, oh, it's because the fandom's toxic, and that's when like the fan will be like, that's not an arguable statement.
That's not even all of us, you know. They're like, me and Leo are huge My Hero fans, and we agree with most people. The fandom is toxic, you know. But that shouldn't be a reason for you to not enjoy the story. It actually, I was almost a victim of this because I wanted to watch Haikyuu. I know you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
But shout out to your cousin. I know she saw it, and it was awesome.
She actually texted me and she wanted to start a podcast about anime.
Oh, dude.
So.
But I was afraid of the same thing because I noticed in the Haikyuu fandom there was a lot of a lot of gay ships and just a lot of ships in general. Now watching it, I will say some of those gay ships are very justified. You know, I'm like, yes, they have evidence, but other ships, I don't think so. You know, I don't see the evidence to back it up. And for those of you who are like, well, just keep watching. I read the whole manga, and I didn't see a lot of evidence of certain things. You know. Of certain ships, but it stopped me from watching it at first. I didn't want to watch it because I saw how the fandom acted, and I was like, I don't want to have a conversation about how great the story is and someone go, well, what about this ship? You know? I'd be like, I don't know. But once I watched it, I was like, wow, this is a really good sports anime. How's the manga? And then it was a really good manga. And so it was just an overall good show that almost stopped me because of the fandom. And that's exactly how people feel about My Hero.
I mean, I'm being honest, there's a greater chance of this being confirmed is the Naruto and Sasuke gay ship. That's honestly like more confirmed than the whole My Hero gay ship verse, if I'm being honest.
That's true.
I mean, dude, like Naruto did not stop sucking up Sasuke. He's like, oh, I'm gonna bring it back because he's the only who understood me. Yeah, just forget that, you know, Uruka Sensei, you know, acknowledged you. Jiraiya acknowledged you. Shikamaru was pretty much your first friend with Choji and shit.
Day one warrior, dude.
Yeah, but, you know.
Whatever, yeah. Sasuke
whatever, dude.
Back, yeah.
Screw this shit.
I get it.
But, so, it's like I said, so, like, there's a difference between, you know, like, the My Hero fan base and the Naruto fan base. Because I know you like comparing them a lot.
Yeah, I do. And they're both bad for different reasons, in my opinion. Like, look. As a My Hero fan, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that My Hero is the greatest story ever written. You know? I don't believe that. But on the reverse side, a Naruto fan will fight you tooth and nail. They will admit maybe 2 shows are better than it, and none of them will be new gen. They'll be like, One Piece and Dragon Ball are the only 2 animes better. And I'm like, dude, that's not true. There's so many other animes that have better characters, have a better story, and have both a better story and better characters. Vinland Saga.
Oh, but yeah.
Ooh.
But
new gen.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, just because so when it comes to a Naruto fan, like if you say, hey, Naruto is okay, it's not bad, but it's not great, they would murder you. Yeah. Like you said that. Like, what'd you say? It's a perfect show. I'm like, no. First half of Naruto, solid ass show. Good story, good character development. It's really amazing. Shippuden was messy as hell. You can't not argue with me and say it's not messy, because once it goes to the Ninja War arc, dude, that's just it's like another Buu saga from Dragon Ball. That's basically what it is. So like, I hate when they really just keep arguing with you about, oh no, it's a perfect show, and then even when I do ask them, it's like, okay, what's perfect about Shippuden? And like, even like their argument is just retarded. Like, I know one of them was like, oh, well, Naruto has like these main transformations, so he's the greatest MC ever. I'm like, why does having the most transformations make you the greatest MC ever? If that's true, then I believe Ichigo should be the best then.
Yeah, or Goku.
Yeah, or
just go
Goku.
Right back to Goku.
Yeah, or Goku, like, because Goku has so many stupid transformations, but I'm not saying he's the best. I would admit that he's like pretty much like the blueprint for MCs, because I know
That's true.
pretty much like a lot of these other shows coming out, they take at least a little piece from Goku to put in their character. Like if you watch, we talked about this, I think the last podcast, where Jin Mori, which is the main character of Gado High School, is like a total like mirror copy of Goku.
Yeah. But the thing is what I will say about the Naruto fans, personally, I prefer My Hero over Naruto, but also personally, I would rather argue that my show, like, I'd rather be toxic in the way that my show's the greatest, rather than being like, why didn't you confirm my ship? Like, I'd rather be toxic about the story and something that actually is a part of it, rather than the ships. Because in my opinion, ships are okay, like, you can do it, whatever, but it's not that integral to the story where you should be writing and sending death threats to the manga.
Yeah, and then I knew when that was released, when they sent death threats to them, I knew that the haters are going to use that as ammunition.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well, at least my fan base doesn't throw hates. I'm like, what does fan base do anything about the show, dude? Like,
Yeah.
the guy is still going to be making his manga. Like, I don't think these death threats are even phasing him. Like, he just took a break to be like, hey, guys, you want to know why I took a break? Bully these guys, But I don't think it's going to change his story. He's going to keep doing what he planned.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, yes, he's writing the story for us and for our enjoyment, but it's his story. What we enjoy about the story isn't our own. It is what he wrote, what he thought of. So why would you try to change his idea just so you can be like, oh, so you could be like, oh, did you see Deku and Todoroki are finally confirmed? And like, no. Have you ever had like a best friend? Have you ever, like, that's how they act. Like, Todoroki and Deku act like best friends. Like how I act with my best friend is exactly how Deku and Todoroki act. It's not anything weird or anything like that. It's normal. And people see that and they're like, oh, that's a good friendship. They must love each other in a very sexual way. And it's like, no, come on, guys.
I just don't know why this started, though. Like, out of all the shows that have come out, like, I've never seen so many, like, geishas with My Hero.
Dude, you know what started it all? I'm not gonna lie. What really started it all was that freaking...
The Kirishima and Kachana, isn't it? Huh?
No. It was really what I just said. It was really, it's your cork, not his. Everyone was like, they must love each other.
Oh.
They must want to make out. Like, no. He was just trying, and it's like, literally, I don't see how you can misconstrue that. Other than, like, I mean, All Might literally stated afterwards, don't tell me, young Midoriya, you were trying to save young Todoroki this whole time. Like, he literally said that. He literally said he was trying to save him because he is a hero naturally. He wasn't trying to save him because he loved him. He was trying to save him because he is a hero. That's what he does. He tried to save him because he's a hero.
Yeah, and then, I mean, it's like he was pretty much... And then he kind of he was saying that so he could go all out against him.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if Todoroki is known to have both fire and ice and he's never used fire at all, I'm sure Deku, since Deku, like he said earlier in the show, he was saying that he doesn't want to just pass the exam, he wants to excel.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's the same thing for his hero course. Like, he wants to excel in being a hero, not just pass, being a good hero. He wants to excel. So to do that, you gotta fight people, that's going all out. You can't just fight someone that's half power. So he wanted to fight Todoroki going full power so he could, try to prove. And then he ended up losing, yeah, but hey, at least he awakened Todoroki, though.
Saved Todoroki.
Yeah, he saved him, yeah.
And what else, like, to go off of your point too, he said that because Todoroki's going after the same dream that Deku is, and Deku's giving it his all. So why shouldn't the person, if they're gonna beat him, do the same? He said that. He goes, if you're not gonna go 100%, you don't deserve to be number one. Like, he says that, and then he goes, it's your cork, not his. He says that in the preface to the main statement. So it's like, he just told him that so he can be the best hero he can be and realize that his power is his own. And then save him is what happened.
Mm-hmm. So, don't have the toxic fan base to be a reason why you don't watch a show, because if that's a thing, then I would erase Naruto from my memory. Yeah. And then I'll do the same thing, because you guys are fucking toxic, because you guys will fight anyone that your show is better. I mean, like, even when I see, like, top 10 list, and if I don't see Naruto on that list, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this guy's not a dumbass, that thinks it's the greatest show. And then as soon as I go in the comments, bunch of Naruto fans just shitting on this guy because it's not on his top 10 list.
And like no other like list can have anything with like this is what makes me so upset. Like they'll be like, oh, top 10 like saddest moments in manga, like Watch Mojo will do it, right? And then Watch Mojo would be like, or just anybody would do it, right? And it will just be like Naruto stuff. It'll be like saddest death, and they won't even talk about Hughes. They'll be like, oh, Jiraiya, oh, Itachi, oh, Minato. And I'm like, you guys watch Full Metal? Did you guys see that? Or like, did you guys watch Spike Spiegel? Like, come on. Well, really, and then another thing that just drives me crazy about that, not to freaking go on a little tangent here, is I saw this one video on TikTok. This guy was like my top 10 like anime, and 1 through 9 were so, I was accurate. It was like 10 Demon Slayer. I was like, okay. 9 Vinland Saga. I was like, ooh, Vinland Saga.
Okay,
that's a little low, you know. But and then he just like, oh, it was like Berserk, and he just started naming like these really like good, like a Psychopath was on there, Monster was on there. That's something you should watch. And like I was like, wow, these are all like really good, you know. And then like at the end it was like One Piece, or like number in third place One Piece, second place Dragon Ball, and I was like, okay, Dragon Ball, I get it, it's OG, you can't argue with that. And then it was like number 1 Naruto, and I was like come on, dude. I was like, we know that Vinland Saga isn't better than Naruto. Like, story-wise, character-wise, they're all good. And you can argue that there's only one season, but read the manga and it'll blow you away.
Alright, so now that we're done, hopefully convincing you guys to watch it, because, you know, the fan base shouldn't, you know...
dictate that.
Yeah. Let's talk about why you guys should watch it and why it's good.
Well, so let's just start off right now. It's good. Why it's good, let's start off with the openings, because I think that is a perfect place to start. Everyone talks about other shows' openings being super hype, but My Hero has amazing openings too.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the ones they brought out, there's only one that I'm like, eh.
And it was the most recent.
It's there, but you know, like it's not. I wouldn't you know have it on my phone.
Yeah.
And which is like the recent one. And it's, of course, you know, it's we always say this, but the kind of second half of season 4 was a little, you know, hey, let's chill out, because after this, there's no sleeping and taking breaks.
Exactly. Like, if you think that the Endeavor fight, like, for me, the Endeavor fight honestly saved the back half.
Was just the beginning too.
It was just the tip of that. They didn't even finish the most insane part of that. I mean, the fight was amazing. That's probably the most insane part. But what happens next when a certain character appears to come and talk to him, Endeavor, like, you start to be like, ooh, what's going on here? You know, you start to get really interested. And then, but yeah, that OP, like, that was sad that it was part of the Endeavor fight, but it was still a decent OP.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite is Parallels, the one right before that with the overhaul arc.
The beginning, yeah. Yeah, that's the one that a lot of people were talking about, yeah. I remember listening to it, I was like, it's okay. And then as I kind of like watched the show more and more, I'm like, okay, it's actually pretty banging OP.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
But, like even straight from the beginning, like the OP from the beginning, it just fits the My Hero, like...
the vibe.
Yeah, it just fits it perfectly, like... Because it's like a very happy, you know, bouncing song with like good guitar riffs. It's a good verse from the singer. I forgot the band name, but
it's I think it's Pornograph Giraffe.
Pornograffiti, I think.
Oh, Pornograffiti.
I think Pornograffiti is what the band's called.
And then it's called, the song's called Days, I'm pretty sure, or The Day or something like that.
And then of course, my favorite opening was the beginning of the second season.
Peace Sign.
Which is Peace Sign.
Yep.
I love that opening so much. I remember, like, that's the one I did not skip at all. That was my favorite opening. Second one, like I said, it was good. It's, you know, it's on my phone. Third came around, and that's probably the one that everyone knows the most.
It was Make My Story, right?
No, it wasn't Make My Story. It was
because I really like Make My Story.
It was oh my god, what's that song called, dude? I'm gonna look at my phone.
I just like the second half of season 3. I'm pretty sure that one's Make My Story.
So, it's a Odd Future.
Odd Future. That's okay.
By Overworld. I remember that's probably the one that everyone knows because it was very popular when it came out. But Make My Story was also another banger too.
But what I like about, I didn't like Mike's story at first, but what I really like about it was the visuals, like the hero license exam when he like kicks all the balls in the air. I was like, yo, this is sick.
No, that too. But the beginning is what really caught my attention was because it has All Might's hairs, and then it fades into Deku's ears and his mask.
Yeah.
And then like of course as soon as it's like his back and he turns around and then like the air blows his mask over and he sees like the exam in front of him like getting ready to face him.
That kick though, that's what really sold me. I was like, yes, dude, shoot style, banging.
But of course you said Polaroids.
Yeah, I think
is it called Polaroid something like that?
Polaroids, yeah, I think I said Parallels, but it's Polaroids.
Yeah, but that one is really like I don't know. Like for me, every time I hear that OP, it just reminds me of Mario.
Yeah, well, yeah,
because he was kind of the focal point of that whole season, but. Yeah, it reminds me of Mario, honestly.
Well, it's the longest arc, and up until now in My Hero history, it's the longest arc for sure. But I actually didn't like the visuals in that one, if I'm being completely honest. And like, it's my favorite song, like as a song on its own. But as an opening, the visuals weren't really there for me. I was like, these could be better. And I'll tell you what, second half, it was the second song. I don't even know what it's called. The song wasn't that good. And I didn't like the visuals either, so I was like, well, this is a bummer. Yeah, I didn't like the visuals or the song itself. I actually saw it on someone's number one, though, for that final song in season 4. I was like, interesting.
I've seen one shitty list, dude. Like, they put peace sign, like, I think, like, the second last. I'm like, yeah, fuck this list. Like, you can't put peace sign in, like, in the very bottom. But I think the best visual opening was, for sure, the beginning of season 3, which was the Odd Future one, yeah.
Well, I do like Peace Sign too, with all of them stretching and getting ready for the. I thought that's what really caught my eye at first. I was like, yo, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah, because like, if you think about it, each stretch, is it bounces off the quirk. So Bago was stretching like his legs plus his upper body, because he flies around. Uraraka was like stretching her arms and fingers because she's like her gravity stuff. And of course Ida was stretching his legs because he's a running type of guy.
I'm pretty sure Kirishima's doing like crunches or something.
I think he was, yeah, he was in crunches, yeah.
I was like, that makes sense. He's hardening his abs.
Yeah. So that's a good one. But I think season 3 was probably the one that everyone knows the most when it comes to all the OPs of My Hero Academia.
I just want to take a break until isn't it?
Yeah, and Ryan's wearing that My Hero shirt too, by the way.
Dude, look at the back of it. It's the boy.
It's Deku.
Yeah, long sleeve, dude. Gotta love me some long sleeves. But that's just like one thing that you should love. The openings are really good, and that's definitely one reason that you should watch it. So, what do you think is another reason they should watch it?
Well, another reason is if you're a type of person that hates plot holes, like Goku mastering Ultra Instinct.
All of a sudden?
Yeah. See, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, I'm afraid, anime, but like I could pick out its bad parts.
Its weaknesses, yeah.
Yeah, its weaknesses, yeah. So like, I did think like that's such bullshit, but it did make up for the awesome fight that we had.
It was cool, yeah.
Yeah, but My Hero Academia is probably the ones that doesn't really have any plot holes. Like there is some, don't get me wrong, but like to name a few, spoiler if you haven't watched it, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you don't, because I'm a fan though. But some that I could point out is Deku versus Muscular. That's a plot hole because I'm like, come on, like
all of it. Like what really made me upset about that fight is he hits him with the 100% Detroit Smash. Muscular gets back up.
He's like, is that all you have?
Yeah, and he was like, I hit him with the same power all my head. So I was like, oh fuck, this guy's gonna. I was like, well, there goes he. I was
yeah.
Like, there goes Midoriya.
And I guess you could say Koda was the one who like pretty much like woke him up. Yeah. Because he kind of gave up, but then Koda like woke him up. But I don't know, because like. I mean, it's proven that when he said 1,000,000% that it wasn't actually 1,000,000%. Yeah. But like even let's say even if it was 1,000,000%, his arm, by the way, he used 1% twice with that same arm. So his arm is busted.
Yeah.
Even with 1,000,000%, I don't think you can still do a lot of damage with that messed up arm.
So one thing though is so first of all, I watched a really good video. I wish I could tell you who the guy was. Shout out to him though. He was very like when he broke it down for me, I loved it. And basically he was saying that the whole time, if you really pay attention to that fight, he never thinks of himself, and as soon as he starts to lose, he says like, "Mom, I'm sorry. And he's like, I failed you, All Might. Like, he thinks of himself. And Koda spraying the water was Koda being a hero. And Midoriya realizing, like, oh, like, this isn't about me. And so he was like, yeah. So he realized that he needs to fight. And that's what awakened his quirk and tapped it in. I mean, the next season we'll talk about, season 5 we'll talk about more of Deku's quirk, but he taps in deeper into that power. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what his argument was, is that when Koda awakened his real hero inside of him, the quirk gave him a little bit more power. It was like, hey, that was All Might's 100%. Now here's a taste, because what a lot of people don't get is, yes, when he goes like 100%, that's All Might's 100%. That's not Midoriya's 100%. Like, you're given the power of the previous user immediately. So he's like, oh, it's my 100%. In reality, it could be Midoriya's, like, getting into it. It could be like 20%, of Midoriya's true power. Not of All Might's power, not of One for All power, of Midoriya's power. And he could, when he did 1 million, he could be like, oh, that was just more of your true power, True. But that's headcanon, so don't.
But yeah, but that's just one of the plot holes that it's in the show. But
another one I think is, for me, a really big plot hole is the overhaul.
Overall, yeah, I mean overhaul versus Deku, because at this, I mean, we're shown Mirio with his power, and he's pretty much unbeatable.
Yeah,
like you can't beat this guy. So if Overhaul beat him, but then again he did shoot with the bullet. But then again, if Overhaul beat him, you're like, okay, then there's no way that Deku could beat this guy.
Yeah.
And the fact that Deku just waffle stomps this guy,
dude,
I was like, okay, I was not expecting that.
Dude, we're talking about plot armor. He went Super Saiyan Blue, dude. He stole a freaking move from another manga.
he got it. Yeah, he actually did. Like when I showed him on that clip, she was like, oh look, he went like Super Saiyan like Goku, and I'm like, I never seen it that way, but that's pretty much what it is, yeah.
And then I love all the memes that came out of that one, where it was like him on it. He's like, look, now I can destroy my body with no consequence. And Eri like looks at him all worried, and he's all, just kidding. I was like, liar.
But yeah, like.
But that was just another example of what I was saying. Mm-hmm. Like that could have been Midoriya's like real power, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because he just freaking waffle stomped him, dude. And
yeah, he didn't let him breathe, dude.
Dude, I love though, like the freaking when he punches him and all the other freaking
like he was so fast,
and he's like doo, 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 like a machine gun hit him. I was like, dude, that was so cool. But it didn't really. That was a plot hole. I mean, in reality, he should have lost.
Yeah, and then because also like when there's a tournament arc in the second season where Deku's in of course the top 10. Works. It was like top something, but so I was like, okay, Deku's winning this fucking fight. Like he's gonna win the tournament. Like I thought he was gonna win it. But then the fact that he lost against Todoroki, I think in the either semi or quarterfinals. No, it
was quarter, dude. He doesn't even make it to the
quarter, huh? Yeah. I was like, okay, I was not expecting him to lose this early on. Like it honestly really got me off guard. I was not expecting that. I'm like, okay. I do like this kind of stories where like even with Super, I'm bringing Super up again. I'm pretty sure 98% of the fan base thought Goku was gonna win the whole thing.
Yeah, but then 17 won.
But then 17 won it. Yeah, like 17. The guy that I watched, totally not Mark. He's a really good, like analytic type of guy when it comes to like Dragon Ball videos. And I remember he was saying that he put a Twitter poll, and said, okay, who's gonna win this tournament of power? And if he put Goku, Frieza, 17, and Jiren. He said that and he showed like the the results, and dude, the Goku was like far above everyone else. Like 17 was a skinny bar. Like no one voted for 17.
So saying that Goku's votes were over 9,000.
Oh my god. But like 17's votes were like, I think only like 2 or 3 people voted for 17 because like no one thought he was gonna win. And then in the end, 17 ended up being the last one alive.
And honestly, I've seen people say that if it wasn't 17, then everyone would have died.
Well, yeah, because like I as Goku and Frieza were like fighting Jiren, 17 was shooting his little blast at him because he has infinite power, not infinite power, infinite stamina. So that did damage Jiren because I remember when I think they pushed him back, and then 17 fired like 3 little bolts at him, and it really exploded on him and pushed him all the way back to like the top of that little cylinder. And that's when Goku and Frieza came like
Well, if you
flying in.
if you really look at that fight, 17 was the first person to damage damage Jiren.
Yeah, he was the first one to actually like know his weakness. Like he's like he pretty much said, oh, like when he's off guard, that's when he's like most vulnerable, because when he was like, I think, focusing on Goku Vegeta, 17 came from behind and like blasting him from the back, and that really damaged him. And he was like, oh, what the hell? And he's like, and then of course he couldn't sense him because he's an android. You can't sense androids at all. And I was like, okay, I like that. I like that 17's actually doing work in this.
Yeah, honestly best character in Super so far.
I mean, I think MVP in the whole tournament in general. Because if you think about it, he actually took out a lot of the ones that people were having trouble with. Like the little bugs that no one could figure it out. 17, the thing eliminated that one.
What was that big one that that one group combined?
Yeah,
like,
it was with the robots.
If it wasn't for 17,
to punch his little forehead, that was done.
Yeah, they would have lost.
Yeah. So I like stuff, I like stories that where they drift away from like, oh, the main MC's gonna win, or this, it's predictable. I like unpredictable stuff.
And another thing that was unpredictable, like think about it like this: when a character gets like a new ability, how often of times does it go the way Deku got in the hero, what was it, the hero course, like to get into the hero course, that one exam when he saves Uraraka? Who expected it to be like that? Who thought he was just gonna go in, just fucking bam bam bam, clap all the robots, you know what I mean, because of his training and all this other stuff? Who would have thought that he would have only beat one robot that was worth 0 points? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I love, is that's what really, I watched it, that's one of the things that really sold me on the show. I mean, there's tons of other things that before I was like, yep, but that one I was like, wow, that's so amazing that he just was like, all right, smash, and then his arm was damaged, his legs were damaged, because other heroes would have smashed it and been like standing on top of it, but instead, like, he was damaged. He still doesn't have mastery over that, and that's what I really liked.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, you seen the way he was falling and his legs were like,
yeah, just like
little like plastic bags.
He had 0 bones in them.
Yeah, pretty basically, yeah. He's just demolished his bones. And I did like how I was like, oh, like there's a secret hidden course where like, it's a hero course.
Yeah.
What do heroes do? Save people. So of course there's a little secret task where there's rescue points. So of course him rescuing Uraraka, like, cause she was basically gonna fucking die. I'm pretty sure that he was what would have killed her.
Uh-oh.
And then
they
the
make
fact
him
that
sign a waiver at the beginning.
Yeah.
If you die, it's your fault.
And the fact that Deku was, running away, and then as he saw Uraraka, that changed his mind, and that's when he went after the robot to rescue Uraraka. And then of course, All Might's like, there's nothing more nobler than self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
And of course I think he was number 5 or 4 or something like that.
No, he was the last one. So what they really...
Oh, he barely made it, huh?
Yeah, when they talk about comparisons, like, they say at the beginning, they're like, after that test, they're like, it's funny, the number 1 student, which was Bakugo, only won by destructive points. So now you know where Bakugo has to grow. You know that Bakugo now has to grow from being a complete destroyer to a actual hero. He has to learn to save people, and now you know how Deku has to grow. And they're kind of like, the 2 lead characters. Deku can save people, that's his thing, but now he has to grow in the fact that he has to be a hero, or he has to destroy things. He has to be a hero, but he also has to be able to defend people, which is a great segue into story.
Yeah. So the next part is story. Really good story. All right, so next one, I'm just kidding.
That's it.
But
better than Naruto.
Like, when it comes to story, like, it honestly, like, just like the whole premise, like, I remember the beginning when Deku was like doing the voices, he was like, yeah, like 80% of people have powers while the other 20% are born just normal people. I'm like, okay, that kind of really got me into the story.
Yeah.
Because the fact that, you're born and you could develop a quirk, and the fact that everyone, has something unique. The only way you can have a same power is if it's your dad, your parents, like genes and stuff. But when it comes to different genes, it's all something different.
Yeah, it could be anything.
And even like the different powers are amazing. And then I like how they have 3 different type of categories of powers, which is, I believe it's transformation.
Yep, that's one.
Which is people thinking what All Might is.
Well, yeah, that's the fan theory.
Yeah, it's a theory. Yeah. The other one is mutant, which is like the Invisible Girl. Was it Froppy or Floppy?
It's Froppy, the Invisible Girl, like Tokiyami,
and then that reptile villain.
Yeah.
And the villain.
So like a transformation quirk, an example of that would be like Mount Lady. Like, she's not a giant all the time.
And like Kirishima.
And Kirishima, she's like When she grows, she becomes a giant. When Kirishima wants to harden his body, he hardens his body.
Yeah, so like of course, it's like Dragon Ball, Super Saiyan is in transformation, so like you're human, and then you could activate your quirk as a transformation. Mutant is when you're born with that, like you can't turn it off nor turn it on. It's always on.
They say your quirk doesn't develop until you're like 5 years old or something like that. So like what's funny to think about is the Invisible Girl could have been a baby.
And she's like slowly.
And then at 5 years old, her parents could have came in, and she was gone.
Yeah, and there was one more.
It's power. It's called like which is basically like, I think it is called power. It's like what the rest are. It's what Uraraka is. It's what Todoroki is. It's what Bakugo is. I mean, I guess in the fourth one would be one for all and all for one.
So it's emitter.
Emitter. Yeah, okay.
So that's pretty much what Deku is. Like he could focus all his power into one, and then unleash it like after. So of course the side, what's that one flamboyant dude that's French?
Oh, you're talking about his name starts with an A. I freaking can't.
But well, like he like
I can't
makes it
twinkling.
go to his belly. Yeah, he makes it go to his belly and he shoots it, or like Kaminari, like he turns a bolt and he could just shoot it or spread it across.
Kaminari.
Yeah.
Underrated character.
So like that's the 3 different type of categories and powers, and everyone has one of the categories. And I mean there is some theories that others have too. I know like there's a theory with like fans where All Might actually has 2 powers, just like how people theory that Deku has 2 powers. But then again, it's a theory. They're not confirmed. It's not any canon, so we can't really say anything
all
about
head
that.
canon.
Mm-hmm.
But the story itself, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it's got a pretty similar, basis to like One Piece, Naruto, Black Clover, where it's like, hey, I want to be the greatest insert thing here. I want to be the Hokage. I want to be the Pirate King. I want to be the Wizard King. Want to be the number 1 hero, But fun fact, he doesn't say it. He says this is a legend of how I became the greatest, not the number 1.
Yeah, because I remember people were... Because, like, my theory in the story is that... So, like, pretty much a lot of people's, like, motivations to be the number 1, right? So, Deku says... This is a story of how I became the greatest hero. But he didn't say the number 1. So, I feel like he might be number 2.
Yeah.
And then Kacha number 1. Because he does have that number 1 mentality. Just like Deku does, too. But I feel like... how Kakashi already pretty much is unpredictable with a bunch of stuff that he was showing us already. I feel like Deku might be number 2 and then Kacha number 1, and I feel like Todoroki might be 3.
Yeah.
Number 3 hero, but only time will tell, so who knows. But if my theory is true, dude, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah, for me, I don't, in my opinion, if we're talking about just theories of how it will end, I think that our little, broccoli boy isn't gonna be alive at the end of the story.
That could be true. Like he could say that he became the greatest, but
by
maybe like
Shigaraki,
yeah, and like he just ended up dying, and then he's voicing over and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I actually heard a theory that like Deku dies fighting Shigaraki, and they're like, and that's the story of how I became the greatest. And it cuts to a like a scene of Bakugo standing over Deku's grave. And he's like, at least that's how I think the nerd would have written it. We should go over character designs now. And like, well, not really character designs, like just characters in general. Because we wrote characters, character designs, and scars. And abilities. But we can cover that all in one shot. Let's get it right here, dude. The character designs and abilities in My Hero are phenomenal. Mm-hmm. They are, in my opinion, they are pretty much unparalleled. Because if you really look at it, like how many... I was telling Leo, like, sure, you can make a story and be like, the main character, or one of the characters has super speed. Like, oh, why is he fast? Oh, because that's just his power. Where instead of how many of you went, I want to be super fast, but I have engines in my legs. That's in my calves. That's how I'm super fast. None of you have been like, oh, okay. And not only do the abilities and the design of that is unique, that their abilities actually have limits. So it's like, yeah, I have these engines in my legs that are super fast, but much like a real engine, they can overheat. You know?
And it just blocks. It's pretty much blocked.
Exactly, and you have to go past your limits. Or like for Endeavor's case, like he has the ability to use fire, but his body can overheat. You know, his body can only handle so much because he still is a human.
Yeah, and you see that when he's fighting the Ultra Super Nomu, because like as he's sweating, the sweat is like just evaporates as soon as it touches his skin. He goes, tss, it just like burns because he even says like, "Oh, I'm overheating. I need to finish it now." And with Todoroki, you know, he has ice and fire. So if he uses too much ice, he get frostbite. And his moves, he's slower. His like attacks are more slower as well. Or if he had, you know, fire, he could also overheat. But I feel like he's the perfect combination because if he's too cold, cool, turn on fire.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm about to get heat. Turn on cold.
Exactly. And then like another thing is Hawks. Hawks is another great example. First of all, Hawks' design is amazing.
Oh, dude, he has my favorite design of everyone in the whole show.
Immediately draws you in. You're like, oh, this character, I like his vibe. Who would have thought, like, yes, he has wings, but not how you think. He can control every individual feather on his wings.
Yeah, so he could send one out, and he can make it go wherever it wants. You know, like, so let's say if someone, a perfect example is if someone's like, you know, in the street and there's a car about to run him over, he could send a feather to hook onto his clothes and pull him out of that way. Or he could even take one out and extend it and make it to a sword that is actually sharp and could kill you.
Yeah, like it's just such creative thinking and like, look, even the strongest heroes, like that's what I love about All Might. I know this is kind of like, well, that's only because of All for One, but he had a weakness too. He could only be this #1 amazing hero for so long, and his time was slowly ticking down, and that is something that is very interesting. And not only that, his character design is amazing. I love his freaking buff body with his freaking,
but also his weakened form is
also his weakened form.
A good design, because it's the thing what I love about Horikoshi and what he did with this, you know, whole show is that each character has a different design. Not, of course, you know, different design, but like if you see Mirio, he looks way different than how everyone else looks in My Hero. Yeah. Same with All Might in is like even in his buff or his weakened form, it looks different art style than everyone else's.
We can't forget, like, if we're talking about unique character designs, like, how can you not talk about freaking Tokuyami? You know,
yeah.
I love his ability. I love, like, who would have thought, like, hey, what's your ability? I have a giant shadow bird that comes out of my body.
Yeah.
You know? Oh,
the fact that he has a mind of his own too.
Yeah, and he's his own person. He's like, it's kind of like Venom.
Yeah, it's pretty much like Venom. Like, it's basically a symbiote attached to him, but you know, and it can never leave his body. But if he's in darkness too much, the shadow could actually overcome, you know, Tokuyami. So it could actually overpower him, and he can't control him anymore. And also the thing is, actually a perfect example that you mentioned Venom is because Horikoshi is a huge fan of American superheroes,
especially Spider-Man.
Yeah, so he has different, you know, how you say it? Inspirations for each character. So of course Tokuyami is, you know, Venom. Who is Spider-Man?
There's actually, and I think it's either somewhere in the manga or in his side story, like My Hero Vigilantes, they do mention it and the American Spider Hero somewhere in that. So
Marvel confirmed.
Where's the crossover?
Marvel universe.
Yeah, where's the crossover? Please, I need it.
Oh, and then also, I think it's a volume cover of when Hawks is fighting Twice. Remember how it's you know, Hawks about to swing and then a bunch of like the army of Twice is over him.
Yeah.
There's someone else posted another picture of a comic book cover of Spider-Man. I forget who he was fighting, but Spider-Man was also fighting another amount of like an army of one person, but it was like the exact same pose and everything.
Yeah, I think it was actually reversed. I think like because in that poster, I think Hawks is coming down on Twice, but in the actual comic, whatever Spider-Man's fighting is actually coming down onto him.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of reversed, but another cool thing is, and Spider-Man is supposed to be Deku. That's why. Yeah, that makes sense. He gave him Black Whip was supposed to be like his web.
Yeah, because the spider bite and you know, like the DNA pass does give off a lot of Spider-Man bites, because the whole point of Spider-Man was anyone could have been Spider-Man. Yeah. That spider could have latched onto anyone, and anyone could have been Spider-Man. Same with, you know, All Might and Deku. You know, All Might could have given a DNA to anyone that he thought was worthy of that. But since, you know, Deku, of course, proved that he was a hero, he gave it to him. So he could have given it to anyone.
Honestly, the character with the most bland design is really Deku.
Yeah.
But when you look at all the other characters, like, first of all, like, hey, like, I'm going to keep doing this because I love it. Like, hey, what's your power? I'm invincible. Really? How? I harden like a rock. What do you mean? Like, my skin gets tough and it's a rock. Like, I'm not the Thing. who's just a rock all the time, and I'm not Superman where I'm normal and I'm bulletproof. I transform my body into a rock. Number one, that's awesome. Number two, talk about a great character design. His costume is so dope. And I love the fact that his hair isn't red. So you're not like, oh, why is this guy's hair red? Like, because I dye it. Like, I love it.
It's because I remember like no one knew. Like I guess everyone thought his hair was just red. But then when you see his backstory, he actually has black hair. Yeah. And he just dyed it to match, Red Riot.
Yeah.
And
I think it's Crimson Riot and he's Red Riot.
No, he's Red Riot. And his idol is Crimson.
Riot. Yeah.
And then I the fact that his design matches him is because, of course, if your quirk is a harden, then you gotta show as much skin as possible, you know, so you could show it. So I think only his legs are covered, and then only his shoulders are. Yeah. That's all that's covered. And then, but when it comes to his ripped abs and his beefy arms that he has, it's all just out open because he needs this to harden. Because if he has clothes, what's the point? He's gonna get getting ripped constantly, constantly, and especially if he especially in this what's it called what is this, unbreakable form. Yeah, If he had a regular shirt on, dude, that unbreakable form is ripping that shirt apart. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
And then another great one, freaking Aizawa's quirk. Aizawa's design is pretty plain, but when he uses his goggles and his hair lifts up, he looks so cool. And I love how they use it. He can erase your power if he looks at you. That's why he wears the goggles, so you don't know who he's looking at, so you don't know whose power is gone. But I love that.
But then I do like how, of course, he's more of a stealth type of hero. Yeah. And he knew, this is a good power, but, he has to work upon it. So what did he do? He learned how to fight. So exactly. I'm a bunch of villains, I think, at the villain, when he...
Oh, infiltrate the USJ?
USJ, yeah. So, they were saying, oh, he's just gonna all he can do is just erase your power, that's it. And then you see him just mauling on everyone, just destroying them with fist combat and his little scarf that he has on. And then he even says since my quirk is only erasing, then I have to find another way to put villains down. Yeah. And that's what he does. But can I point out that dude? I think in the recent chapter of My Hero manga, when they were picking up Aizawa and they touch his scarf, I was like, what's this thing made out of? Yeah. They're like, what is this? It's so sticky. What's it made out of? Yeah. It's funny because he uses it so
effortlessly.
He puts no effort to using it. It's just very calm to him. And with these heroes, pro heroes are like, dude, what is this stuff? It's sticky. I don't know how to use this.
Not only do the heroes have great designs, but the villains do too.
Oh, the villains, yeah.
Shigaraki,
his villain, his design, I was I questioned him, that's weird. That's the hands. But then once you know that I'm not gonna spoil it, but that backstory of what that actually is,
dude, it's amazing.
Really blown me away. I'm like, whoa, I was not expecting that.
And you don't. That's an ability. As your main villain, that's an ability you don't see every day. Name another villain that's ability is to disintegrate.
Yeah, that's true.
You could be well, look at Thanos. He does it. That's not his ability.
Yeah, that's the stone's ability. Yeah.
But that's such a unique power and a unique design. And even later on, when he gets his dope trench coat and the hands fit a little bit differently, he looks so cool. Especially right now in the manga.
Yeah, right now he looks amazing.
And then Dabi, obviously, it's pretty similar to Endeavor, but it's still a cool looking design that you can actually see the scars of his quirk, Yeah,
it's just all over his body. So you see these purple burn marks on him, and he has stitches to hold it on there. And people are theorizing that it's probably because he used fire too much, ended up burning something from his skin.
Maybe a prominence burn.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for that to be confirmed.
Dude, just reveal it.
There's not a doubt about it. Same eye color, same power. Come on. Yeah. And it's like I said, the only way you could get a similar quirk is if it's in your the family tree DNA. Yeah. There's no he has from a different family, different country, different blood. Oh, he has the same quirk. No, it's all different.
Yeah. And then two more character designs that I want to talk about for the villain side, since we've gone over most except for the main character, but that will be in a second, is Korigiri. Such a sick character design. Yeah. Such a sick character design. Such a cool power. And a character that I didn't think twice about. One of the best backstories in the whole freaking manga.
Oh, Korigiri? Yeah. 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 Especially when you know who he's who he knows. Yeah. And who he used to be friends with. Yeah. I was oh, did not see that coming.
Neither did I, because I remember Horikoshi posted on Twitter, just big news coming this week, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be like that some Dobby news, and then what happened? I was like, oh, it's a Kurogiri news, and that is interesting. And then the last one I want to talk about is Gigantomachia.
Oh yeah, I do like his design too.
Gigantomachia is such a great, just like, because it's like it's in a lot of manga, that one character who is just super strong and like is really OP. But his design stands out to me, especially in the manga right now. That
The recent chapter
when he's freaking crawling, I was like, oh my god, wow, this guy looks so dope.
Yeah, and if you're only watching the anime, not reading the manga, then you wouldn't know who this is.
Yeah,
but
no, you would know. He's in the anime for like a quick second.
Oh, okay.
But they'll really find out next season.
Yeah, for sure you'll know who that is next season.
And they better have a heavy opening.
Yeah.
It better be metal. You better get Metallica in.
And then also let's talk about scars.
Yeah, dude. So
since we're just talking about Dobby's and his scars.
Yeah, so one thing I like is there aren't, like, for example, Bleach, they fight with swords. There aren't many characters that keep their scars. Like, there are some, like Kenpachi Zaraki, he's one of the captains of in Bleach, I think of the 10th, but he has 2 scars on him. But I believe, I don't remember, I believe he didn't get any of those in what we see, maybe in a flashback, but like Ichigo gets cut all the time by swords, and then the next time you see that guy shirtless, he's like got no scars.
Speaking about that, remember when we first see Vegeta shirtless in Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, he has all.
Remember that scars that he had? He looked fucking badass. You know, it's like showing. Yeah, I've done a lot of battles.
I'm a warrior. Yeah,
and he looked so cool. And then like I think, like the next arc when you see him shirtless, he has no scars.
Yeah,
and I'm like, bro, he looks so cool with those scars. Why did you take them off?
Yeah.
But then again, like Toriyama does forget. Like he even says himself, like he forgets.
That's why there's no tail on Trunks.
Yeah, because he just
like,
forgot to add it on there. Yeah.
But in My Hero. And I know some people will argue, like, I can already hear it, like, oh, well, Naruto lost his arm. I was like, yeah, but that was in the final arc. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, well, I know this is kind of dumb, like, Yamcha has a scar on his face, or Bardock has a scar on his face. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But their scars mean something. You know, like, I mean, by them, I mean Deku and Dabi and Ida. Their scars mean something. All of Deku's scars on her arm is learning. I did all of this to my arm because I wasn't prepared enough. I didn't train hard enough. Didn't think on my own. I thought of somebody else. And then you look at Todoroki. Todoroki's scars, you know, it means something to him. They're like, oh, this is what my family is to me, a scar. And then Endeavor, a parallel, gets a same scar on his, like a similar scar on his face, trying to show that he's trying to redeem himself. Ida hurts one of his legs, I think it's his left leg, because of his recklessness, and he vows to never be this reckless again, you know? Or Kirishima's scar under his face because he didn't know how to control his quirk when he was a kid, you know?
Also, what about All Might's scar that he has in his stomach?
Exactly, from an intense battle, you know? Their scars mean something, and they last. You're not gonna see Deku, well, not that I've seen yet, Deku with all these scars on his hand, and then like the next chapter he doesn't, you know?
Yeah, because like every time when you see him not wearing gloves, he always has that one scar on his hand. Yeah, it's always there. I think he got it after he fought Muscular, I believe. Yeah,
he has a scar on in his palm and on his forearm, and then his fingers are damaged. If you look, they're not as well drawn as the other one, and that's because he messed up his fingers from all the flicks. Mm-hmm. But that's just, and then, you know, Dabi's scars, we don't know what they are yet. But
people are kind of saying, because so people are theorizing that Endeavor could unleash the blue flame, which is going to be more powerful than the one they have now, the orange and reddish one. And since Dabi's using the blue one, they were saying that maybe Endeavor taught him a very forbidden flame technique.
Yeah. That
really burned him up, and he wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
And then people are kind of could say that that's the reason why he kind of isolated himself from that family, because he blames Endeavor for his scars. So he has that to tell him, hey, screw this guy.
Yeah,
because he gave you these scars.
Well, not only that, is that another thing. Like Rocky, kind of spoiler, loses 2 fingers you know, and that wasn't like so much of a mistake. He was really like that was his wake up call. Like, hey, you need to get stronger if you want to be like good villain. You need to like get stronger, and that was his wake up call to that. You know, it's not just the scars aren't just like, hey, look, I got into a fight in this one. I need to learn. I need to grow, or I will keep losing things, you know? And that's why I think Deku's going to lose an arm in this arc, because, I mean, his arm's already damaged, and it would be a good way for him to be like, I need to learn and grow more now, especially now that I'm missing an arm.
And he shoots out. He uses his legs, so...
Yeah, exactly. And, you know... the mechanic girl can hook him up with a freaking Full Metal style.
That's true. And then you just hear him screaming, ow, for some reason.
Yeah.
Say, ow! I hate my dad because he left.
He really probably does. Maybe his dad is home.
But I
don't know.
I do want to see more of that. Actually, we'll tell actually right now. So the last category is Deku.
Yes.
On why you shouldn't...
We hear three main complaints, right?
So of course the big one, he cries a lot. He cries too much. Even though he has good reasons to cry.
Yeah, he
still cries too much.
Exactly. Like, people always point like, well, why did he need to cry during the sports festival when Uraraka wanted to team up with him? Well, number one, he had the highest rated headband, so no one wanted to. Number two, this is probably the first time someone wanted to team up with him. Now you may argue, well, she teamed up with him with the Bakugo and Ida versus Uraraka and
they were forced.
They were forced to, exactly. This is the first time that he gets together with a group of people and they go, we want to be on your team. We want to help you. So he cries, of course. And if he cries any other time, it's probably because his greatest hero told him that his dreams could come true. Or one of his mentors is dying, you know? Nadai. There's, like, not many times where he cries, and you're like, oh, that's unjustified. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's
like,
crying for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning, like, I think the second episode is when he first cries, and that's, like, you know, when All Might is telling Deku, you can be hero. I'm like, okay, what if you, like, let's put myself in this picture. Let's say if I want to become, like, the greatest soccer player ever. Right. And let's say, like, Messi tells me, bro, like, you can be the greatest. Yeah. I'll ball. Dude. I'll ball on the floor crying like, bro, my idol just said that I could be a soccer player.
Yeah, and dude, for me, it would be like if I wanted to be the greatest YouTuber ever, and Fondi Leo was like, YouTube.
Shut up, dude.
But another thing we hear all the time is that, oh, he's annoying, you know? Like, he's annoying. He doesn't really do anything. Like, he's annoying. They're like, he always cries, or he always screams like, I'm gonna be the number one. Are you serious? You guys are gonna complain to me about Deku going, I want to be the number one hero, and then be like, right after you say that, like, he's annoying for being wanting to be the number one, and then your next breath is, but I'm gonna be Hokage. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, dude, Naruto says that at least like once in every single episode that I've seen. Like, he wants to be Hokage. The only time he doesn't say it is like when it's a different episode, not about him.
No, the only time he doesn't say, oh, I'm gonna be the next Hokage, is when he's going, believe it. Yeah. Like, this, not only does he have one dumb catchphrase, he has two, and it's not just Naruto. You got Luffy, I'm gonna be the Pirate King. Wow, I said cream. I want to be the Pirate Cream. Oh, you know, got Luffy going, I want to be the Pirate King. You got friggin' Asta from Black Clover being like, oh, I want to be the Wizard King. And then you got, I want to be Hokage. And then you got friggin' you could argue that Goku being like, I want to be the strongest. It's the same thing, yeah. You know? It's just, you're gonna get mad at him for having a shonen trope. I mean, we do talk about how unique he is, but, like, come on, you can't say he's a bad character for things that your favorite anime does. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I mean, going off topic, kind of like Eminem. When he first started out, everyone was, you know, blaming him for everything because he says this kind of words in his music. And he even proven, like, okay, but so these other rappers too, though. They're saying the exact same thing I'm saying. Yeah. Well, how come they're not getting any hate? And, like, it's just like that. You know, like, people are going to hate so that, oh, it's because, you know, he has this trait and it's annoying. But that same guy would end up loving another character that's even more annoying than, you know, Deku. And it makes no sense. Like, there's no arguable reason why people shouldn't like Deku.
Yeah, and you know what I think is funny is like people hate on Deku for being like, oh, I can't believe it. He says I want to be a hero, but then on the same breath they'll be like, but Fire Force is an underrated show. Like, what's his name? What's
Shinra.
Shinra. Oh my god! At least Deku doesn't kick somebody, and right before he kicks someone with shoot style, he goes, "I'm Mr. Shoot Style Man." Like, oh my god, dude, shut up, Shinra. I'm Mr. Punch this guy because he deserves it, man. But he's good, you know. He wants to be a hero too. It's the same thing, you know. And people hate on him all the time for that specifically.
And then also like his Deku's development.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
Yeah, and people say he's just the same crybaby.
No, like yeah, like I had friends tell me, it's like, oh, I couldn't get it because I couldn't get past it because you know he cries so much. I'm like, well, why stop watching it? I was like, if you keep continuing, then you'll know that he's not a crybaby. Like, it makes no sense. Just keep watching the damn show.
Yeah, like because we were speaking about the scars earlier. Deku was one of the only main characters that you could physically see changes in. And now people would be like, well, what about Naruto? He got taller. Like,
basically.
What about Goku? He got taller. What about Luffy? Luffy looks the exact same, but taller.
Yeah, no, I mean he did get a little more beefier. Like I've seen a picture of him when you first see him. He's like a very bony kid, and then like right now in like that little samurai arc that they're in, like he's actually pretty beefy. Like he's actually like got a lot buffer.
Yeah.
So, but I don't like how Goku was super buff in like the Saiyan and Frieza saga, and then he just looks skinnier now.
Yeah,
like
it's the animation style.
Yeah, like if you see Super Saiyan Goku versus Frieza in the Namek arc, dude, Goku was yoked out, dude. He was massive, and now he's just like a very skinny dude in Super Saiyan form now.
But like Deku, like you could see him physically change. Like not only is he taller, but he's stronger, and you could also see his internal development too. Like that's something that you rarely see in manga, and that's what I think is so great. That's what really gets me going is when like, yes, people change physically, but their ideals change. You know, like or how they act changes. Like if you look at the beginning, the very first episode, like Deku hides in in his classroom, but now Aizawa asks the question, "What's this divided by this times this?" And Deku like shoots up. He goes, "Oh, it's this." And they're all wrong, and they're all the next person. But even though he was wrong, he still had the confidence in himself to, you know, say it. You know, he knew he had an answer, didn't know if it was the right one or wrong one, and he stood up in front of the whole class and said his answer. That's something that the very beginning of the series, Doria would not do. You know, that's changed personality-wise and physically-wise. And look, he's even more of a hero. And he's more confident around, like, I don't want to be like, he's more confident around girls. He's not a player by any means. But at least he can talk to Uraraka on the phone now without being like, oh my god, I talked to a girl on the phone. You know?
But then also, like, he'd be scared to approach Kachan.
Yeah.
And now he'll straight up tell him, yeah, I'm your rival.
Or not even that. What about, and sorry, a little spoiler from the manga right now. What about, yeah, he went from being scared of him to going, hey, stay behind me.
Yeah.
Hey, stay behind me, dude.
Yeah. Like it shows, dude. Like of course, you know, Kachan was the bully and he was scared to, you know, talk to him or even like, I mean, as a kid he looked at him as a friend, but you know, as Kachan developed his quirk and you know, Deku didn't have one, of course he bullied him, and he was scared of him. Now he's like, hey Kachan, what's up?
Yeah.
Even though that other end will probably be like, hey, fuck off.
Yeah.
But you know, he still said, hey, what's going on? Like I'm pretty sure before he would not say hi to Kachan at all.
Exactly. No,
like he would just look down and just pass him.
Exactly. And now he's like, now he's telling Kachan, hey, stay behind me.
Yeah.
Hey, hit behind me, you know?
And then even though Kachan was like, hey, don't tell what to do, he still did it.
Yeah. And then what's great is you can see that again with that relationship is you can see like they throw hands. Like the first time they fought, it was they were forced to fight. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it was in the training little arc right there. Like we mentioned earlier, it was like Uraraka and Ida. But the second time they fought, like even though he lost, he was like, I'm not the same defenseless kid. Like I'm gonna fight you. Yeah. I'm not gonna be your punching bag. And then he starts like kicking him and friggin' punching him. And what's cool is like he earns Kachan's respect and like they start training together. You know?
Yeah, because after that fight, then Kachan actually, you know, like accepted him as his rival.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're my rival. And then even though like he knows he's his rival, he hates Deku's saying, "I'm gonna surpass
Surpass
you,"
you, yeah.
and he's like, "What? No, you're not.
I'm gonna surpass you." And he's like, "I'm gonna surpass you." He goes, "You stupid nerd! I already said that." It's just a great like I hate to go into spoilers, but like this topic that we're talking about, Bakugo and Deku, it really can't be like the part where they're going where Deku's running away because someone's chasing him in the most recent arc, and Bakugo thinks back to when they were kids and how it was usually Deku looking at Bakugo's back, but now things have changed and it's Bakugo looking at Deku's back, you know? Like he's chasing him. And it's not something that you feel is unearned. You feel every sweat drop. You feel every muscle ache. You feel every part of Deku's fight to be where he is now. You feel every second of it. It doesn't feel undeserved. It doesn't feel anything. Like when they said that, I was like, you're right. You are looking at his back now, but he earned it.
Yeah, like it's not just like, oh, like he got gave it to him. It's like I said, All Might was originally gonna give his power to Mirio.
Yeah.
What if Kacha was looking at Mirio's back? You know?
Yeah.
you never know.
The thing is, though, it was what I freaking love is I saw someone posted somewhere. It was like, hey, none of you would say Mirio deserves one for all more than Deku if he was the first year. I was like, that's true. Because look, I mean, yeah, he would still want to be a hero, but they would have just the same like. It would basically be like Kirishima, pretty much, because Kirishima had a control of his power somewhat, but not full mastery over it. Whereas Mirio would have been the same. Whereas Deku had zero mastery over his quirk and zero quirk before this, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if Mirio was to have all one for all, hands down, he's gonna destroy every single villain he sees.
Even Shigaraki, like how are you gonna decay something you can't touch?
Yeah, because Mirio's quirk is the perfect counter to Shigaraki's quirk.
Yeah,
like hands down, like the perfect counter. Because of course, at the point where at the anime, you know, he needs all 5 fingers to land on something for it to decay. Well, spoiler again, right now all he needs is 1 finger.
And it doesn't even have to be you. He could touch the floor.
Yeah, he could just,
you're touching.
Yeah, so like if you're in front of him, he's just the floor, and that floor reaches you, you're dead.
Yeah.
But since Mirio could pretty much go into anything, it's like the perfect counter. But then again, the thing his counter is perfect for any kind of quirk. Yeah. You kind of think about it. But
that's what I was thinking. Like, do you ever think like, man, like All Might was the number 1, but how would he beat Mirio? But also, what I really like to do is like they talk about Mirio being the number, like, oh, he would have been the number 1, but how would he have defeated that high end? Really, you think about it. How would he have defeated the high end?
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
because he has like the perfect counter, but
he doesn't have
really
the power
punch. Yeah,
he doesn't have the power output.
Yeah, because then again, he was socking up Overhaul. Like he was beating him up. Yeah. Overhaul was still standing.
And Overhaul is also a dude. You know, we're at the point in the My Hero story where like Aizawa couldn't erase Deku's quirk, and Deku kicked him at 45%. He would rock his shit.
Yeah.
He would take his head off, you know? The same thing would go with freaking with Overhaul. If he couldn't if Deku could kick him at freaking full strength, it would have rocked his shit. You know? He would have been like, oh, my head is on the other side of the room now. Whereas, if, you know, Mirio punched him, he just kept moving. Because Mirio Mirio doesn't have super strength. Mirio doesn't have any way to counter a normal. Like, I heard someone go, well, he could rip his brain out. But I don't even know if he could.
He has the power, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, could he?
I don't know. Like it's stuff that only Horikoshi would know.
Yeah, and I don't think he could.
So let's send Death to Horikoshi and
exactly
tell him to give us reasons.
Yeah, you need to give Mirio his power back. So
you need to tell us who Deku's dad is.
Yeah, exactly. Is Deku's dad Spike Spiegel? I need answers.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's honestly Deku has one of the best developments I've seen in anime. And then again, I mean, I've only seen only 50, so I know there's other people that have seen way more than me, and they could probably maybe counter that. I'm pretty sure you'll be like, oh, dude, Guts is the best development.
That's exactly what I was thinking when you said that.
Guts is the best development.
Oh my god, Guts, best MC, hands down. Honestly, no, for real, he is though. I'll fight you guys.
But yeah, we just finished our list of why you guys should watch My Hero, and don't say, oh, I'm not gonna watch it because of the fandom, because we give you reasons why that shouldn't stop you.
Exactly. And so this has been the Gamer and the Weeb podcast, the only podcast that doesn't send death threats to the mangaka. Thank you. Signing off.